All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How you all doing? Good to see you. We are live on YouTube, Callin, and on Rockfin. And thanks for hanging out today and every day with me on these interwebs. Where are we at? Where we be? Rockfinners, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I see you all on the Rockfins. See you all on the YouTubes. All right, let's get into it. Time's a wasting. Time is a wasting. We don't want to waste time now, do we? Right. And anytime things are moving a little slow. Sorry, guys. It's warm here in California. It's warm. It's very warm in my studio. It starts, during these particular summer days, it starts like very early in the morning. If the sun is out from the get-go, by about this time, it is cooking. But in Frankfurt, Germany, they're having some serious issues. Quite a few places are having the issues. What are the issues? The climate change issues? The weather is weird and wacky. Here's the theory. I know that a lot of people like to get into the whole, they're setting these fires in order to kick people off the land. They're making these things happen in order to something, right? We all know that. We all know what it is. Again, I'm not opposed to any of these theories if they have data and evidence behind them. I don't know. And you see a lot of videos out there of there are flashes and weird. The flashes in the sky are awful strange. Okay, I guess. It's hard to point to flashes or shapes. A lot can be done to create optical illusions. A lot can be done in After Effects in videos. So it's really, really hard to trust everything that you see. Things need to be verified. But all that being said, the point I was trying to make is that yes, climate change is happening. Yes, all of these disasters are absolutely happening on the planet. And let's say, the powers that be wanted to, for nefarious reasons, create some kind of something for sinister reasons. Well, you could hide it among all of the other major calamities that are happening. You could hide it. You could hide it pretty well, I guess. So that was my theory. There wasn't a lot to it. But what I'm saying is if a series of crazy things are happening either on the planet or in your neighborhood or in your region or whatever, it wouldn't be hard for somebody to, right? To do the same thing under the cover of all these other things going on, and no one would be the wiser. So That's all. Um, Again, do I think that something untoward happened in Maui? I don't know. It looks like the response to it is awful strange. That's all I can say about it. The response to it doesn't look right. It doesn't look correct. It doesn't look caring. It doesn't look compassionate. It doesn't look, you know, acceptable. Honestly, it's not acceptable. As far as caring for the people of Maui and Hawaii, and we see headlines saying the state is going to buy the land that was burned down, and there were a lot of people saying, well, this looks like it could be a land grab. And then very next day the state has there's a headline saying the state's going to buy the land. That doesn't look right. So you don't even really have to get into all the space lasers and somebody set these fires and something happened. You don't even have to get into that to understand that the response to it is unacceptable. It's like the other day I covered the fact that we talked about the fact that grain silos happen to explode all the time, right? The dust is explosive, causes fires. Yeah, so that's a perfectly, it happens all the time. It's a perfectly natural thing that happens all the time, right? Grain silo explosions or fires. Well, if somebody wanted to set fire to a grain silo or explode a grain silo, well, who would be none would be the wiser, right? Because it would just be one among many. That's all. What's the main problem that we're experiencing on the planet Earth? Certainly looks like, feels like, acts like climate change. It certainly lines up with, 30, 40 years ago, people were saying like, hey, if we keep on doing this thing that we're doing on the planet Earth, us humans collectively together, if we keep on doing this thing, then these things will happen. Well, what happened in those 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, however long it's been? We kept on doing the things, right? We didn't stop doing the things. Nobody, for all the super famous and obviously rich and wealthy climate scientists out there, the ones that are, they have parades for every Christmas, right? For all those super famous and wealthy climate scientists out there and all those wonderful things that we've done in the name of climate change. Oh, wait, we didn't do that. Oh, wait, they're not famous. Oh, wait, nothing was done in the face of climate change. We kept doing the things that we were doing 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. We kept doing them. Guess what? We did them more. We did a lot more of them. We not only said, we'll keep going, we were like, how about some more? How about double? How about triple? How about expand it everywhere? How about just make it happen all the time? More of everything. That's what we did as humans collectively. I think I'm explaining it simply. And then when you have somebody saying 30 years ago, hey, if we keep doing this thing that's bad for the planet, this is what's going to happen. And we say, great, let's do more of that thing that's bad for the planet. And then you get there at the end of that 30 years and all of this is happening. Golly gee willikers, it looks like exactly what they said was going to happen is happening. That's not a conspiracy. That's called, I see something, I see a trend line, I see I see cause and effect, and here's the effect. We know what the cause is, here's the effect. It can't get any more simple than that, but people really want to, stand on their heads and, they want to pinwheels and like fireworks and whoa, there's something else going on. Something else must be happening. Anyways, and it's pretty nuts what's going on. Frankfurt Remember when David Attenborough said the collapse of civilization was on the horizon? There is only so many times the insurance industry can cope with these kinds of events. That's kooky. There's more footage from Frankfurt. Professor Dr. Frankfurter. Some thought I was bold to suggest, this is Jack Lowe, some thought I was bold to suggest that we wouldn't be able to make the same kind of decisions about flying within a year. Same kind of decisions, meaning let's just get on a plane and go somewhere. Even though things like this in Frankfurt are happening now. Always remember nature bats last, and what does it say? And what an inning it will be. He says inning is plural, but. So this looks bad. This is the Frankfurt airport. Clearly underwater. Clearly these planes cannot take off. And it looks like people are stranded here. So that's bad. That's going to mess up your vacation. Speaking of vacations, I'm actually going out of town for a couple of days. I'm doing some camping. This weekend, yes, and yes, I know there's a tropical storm, tropical cyclone heading towards Southern California. I'm not camping in California. I'm camping in Arizona, but it looks like it's possible that Arizona will also get some serious weather. Possible. It's possible. So I will actually miss the if there's landfall in Los Angeles, I guess I'll miss it. But it looks like it's going to hit, Southern California, bits of Arizona, bits of Nevada. And we'll see how this goes. I don't know. Hopefully it's not too crazy. So even my vacation plans might get messed up by this kind of stuff. But this is what is happening. This is what's going on. When you make plans just to live, just to be. If you make plans on living on planet Earth, well, your plans should include having your house slide down a hill, having a tree fall on your house, having your travel plans cut short, having who knows what, having any plants or vegetables or whatever it is you might be growing in the backyard, having those completely wiped away by either a heat wave or rainfall. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And I do live near some mountains. I live in a mountainous region, so that is not good. They're saying there might be some heavy rainfall in mountainous regions here. Will cross my fingers. On that one, Japan. Japan is getting rocked. It's interesting too that I get alerts on my phone like all day long from, news sources, and I mean I just get the endless, endless deluge of like Trump news or I don't know, school shootings, and I just whatever, all the news, right? All kinds of things, but I just don't see the constant deluge of like massive flooding in Russia, massive flooding in Europe, massive flooding in China, massive flooding in India, massive flooding, I don't get it. Those updates don't include what's happening on the planet Earth, and I find that I keep looking at my phone thinking like, they're going to say like, I mean, it could just could actually be like a constant flow all day long. And it's just not there. And that makes me wonder. It does make me wonder. Surprises me, actually, because I feel like, well, isn't this news? Ain't this news fit to print? Apparently not. In Japan, they've got crazy floods, crazy floods in Japan. Look at this. I'm just saying, isn't that news? This has been going. Stuff like this has been going on in China. And every time I get that little notification on my phone about some news event, or I open my phone, my email, and I've got like 5 emails or more from every possible, all these sources, except for, the one email I get that is talking about something is a climate news newsletter. That's about it. Inside climate news. But there's the Guardian and all these once in a while the Guardian or Truth Out or some of one of these outlets will be like say something about climate change or say something about fossil fuel industry, being on the hook for something. But again, not one headline, not one news article, not one news update, not one breaking, not one, hey, update. People are being absolutely pummeled by, intense rain here, and here. Sometimes you might even see something about a wildfire somewhere. Maui was big enough to get, some, but still, even then, the breaking news seems to be about everything else. Everything else. Trump. Everything else. I mean, and the headlines for Trump are just hilarious. I mean, they're they're worthy of a more than a chuckle. I showed you one yesterday that I thought was, if not downright frightening, pretty funny. Anyways, this is in one of the largest cities in Canada's far north is being evacuated amid warnings that a wildfire could reach it by the weekend. So if it doesn't rain on you on your parade, then it might burn you. Fenrir says, I assume this is about Yellowknife. It's not far from Enterprise that went up in flames. I don't remember Enterprise, the city. By December, towns across Brazil and Australia will be burning on a weekly basis, and people will be dying from heat across the southern hemisphere. Peter 9 says the 20,000 residents of Yellowknife, the capital of the Northwest Territories, have been given until noon Friday to leave. Jeez. Sorry, not showing that. Anyways, more wildfires. So, Maui's a pretty popular subject to talk about. Is anybody talking about Yellowknife, Northwest Territory? Is anybody, the Canadian fires were something for people to talk about for a while, but they're still all burning, right? All these wildfires are still burning, and people have just decided to let it go. Except for people that are still paying attention to it. Of course. That know that it means something more than just something to cover on a particular day, as in like, wow, it's crazy all these wildfires started on the same day. It must be lighting them on fire. Excuse me. All right. Speaking of Maui, listen to this from Revolutionary Blackout Network. Joe Biden is sending billions in aid to Ukraine. Meanwhile, he's only giving Maui victims $700, which is a true story. $700. Here you go. Biden in the last week gave 2 times more aid to Ukraine than Hawaii. In a rational society, Biden would be forced to resign due to his incompetence and corruption.
In a rational society, Joe Biden will be finished after how he handled the Maui disaster. So we have the most deadly fire in United States history that killed hundreds and maybe 1,000 plus people in Hawaii. But Joe Biden can't even take time to comment on it. Can you imagine how liberals would have melted down if Donald Trump, when asked about the Puerto Rican hurricane under his watch, said no comment? It doesn't help that as this crisis was unfolding, the Biden administration approved of another $24 billion to Ukraine. Meanwhile, Joe Biden sent half the money that he sent to Ukraine to disaster relief in Hawaii. You can't make this up, fam. They are literally telling you to your face they don't care about you. So as Joe Biden and the United States government is paying for the salaries of Ukrainian government officials, the United States is only sending $700 to Maui fire victims. The U.S. response has been so horrible that Maui residents have been forced to organize themselves and take care of themselves because the government doesn't care about them. Maybe if they would have named Maui Ukraine, maybe they would have got Joe Biden's help.
And speaking of assistance, if you remember, I said that there were reports of the government of Hawaii shutting down citizen-run donation centers. Right? So they're not only are they not giving Maui and the people of Maui support or help, financial help, they are blocking citizen-led donation efforts, which is, what this poster calls it, pure evil. But this is a scene. This is a police officer in Hawaii, basically shutting down. Shutting down a donation center for victims of the fire. And I'm assuming that's what he means. He said there's something about placards. Anyways, I don't know what the placard. Not really sure what the placards mean. Hold on. Oh, so the context, and this is good to read from the reader context. The officer is announcing a suspension of a placard system that would have allowed limited access to the disaster area to qualified individuals. It was suspended due to allegations unqualified individuals were trying to obtain placards. Okay, so it's good to have the context in here. So they were listing this as shutting down the donation center, so that's wrong. But let's play this anyways. So let me just clarify that. Sorry for that. Let me correct. That information was not that they were shutting down a distribution center. They are shutting down the distribution of placards that allow people access to the area. Just so I am correct in what I'm telling you guys, okay? Sorry about that. I really don't like when people post videos like that and misinform people about what it's about. So, dear poster of that, get it together. Let's see. Okay, let's look at this storm real quick that's coming towards Southern California. There was another video though by someone who was saying that they were shutting down, they were blocking. Give me 1 second. At least let me find the correct video of a gentleman saying that they were blocking a distribution center or distribution's aid from regular folk. Give me 1 second. See if I can find this. Hold on. Give me 1 moment, guys. I'm going to try and see if I can find this. But my things are moving slow, and now I've got. Hey. Hey. Jesus. All right. What the deal is with that? Hold on. It was probably like a day or two ago. Hey. Man. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find this as quickly as I possibly can. Should be somewhere in my feed from the last few days. Maybe not. It may not be there. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have it. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to go down a alleyway. All right. But there was a few people saying that they were blocking donations, so or blocking distribution of donations. All right, so there is a storm heading towards Southern California. Will be storm chasing in Southern California Sunday and Monday, covering California's first potential tropical cyclone landfall since 1939. This is Colin McCarthy. Significant flash flooding will be the biggest threat, especially in southeast California deserts. Anyways, he goes on to say it's possible that tropical cyclone Hilary could transition to a post-tropical storm before landfall, but nevertheless, impacts will be the same with heavy rain, gusty winds, flooding, and high surfs. Or surf, not surfs. You know how high them surfs can get. And then we got another post about this from Nicholas Humphreys. Or Humphreys. Let's see. Nick Humphrey. Hilary continues to rapidly strengthen. Maximum sustained winds have increased to 85 miles per hour. It is forecast to become a major hurricane, winds 111 miles per hour later today. Jeez. Ultimately forecast to become at least a Category 4 storm in the next 24 hours. That is amazing. The system will weaken quickly over the weekend because of rapidly cooling sea surface temperatures as it progresses northward. However, models continue to indicate that Hilary 1L will maintain itself some extent as it moves into the more hostile thermodynamic environment and is forecast to move over Southern California as a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm Monday morning. Note, a tropical storm hasn't made landfall in Southern California from the Pacific since the Long Beach tropical storm of September 1939. The last tropical storm, whose center of circulation directly impacted California overall, was Nora in 1997, which crossed the land border from Mexico. Nora had 45 mile per hour sustained winds and it moved into the U.S., so the forecast intensity of Hilary in the U.S. would make it the strongest storm of Pacific origin to hit the country in quite a long time. The biggest threat is heavy rainfall, which could exceed 10 inches in some of the mountainous terrain. Expect flash flooding to be an issue for parts of California, Nevada, and Arizona as a moisture surge begins Saturday night and Sunday ahead of Hilary. All right. So anybody who might be in the area, and that would be my area, it's good to know these things. That's fairly crazy. But this thing came up all out of just really came together in the last 24 hours, right? Okay. Real quick, I have a new record. It's coming out tomorrow, and it's on Bandcamp. If y'all are interested, some people have bought the pre-order already. You could pre-order it tonight. It doesn't really matter. You could buy the record anytime, and you could either buy it tonight, pre-order it, and when tomorrow it will release, and you'll get the whole record, or you could just buy it tomorrow. Here is the link on YouTube. Here is the link on Rockfin. But you can go listen to 2 songs on there right now. It'll be the only 2 songs you can listen to after the record is released as well. So the only way to actually hear all the other songs on the record is to buy the record. Also, yeah, because it won't be streaming on platforms until November. So the only way to hear the whole record before November is to buy the record. The first single, Elevator, which is the song that you hear every single time you watch this video, the opening intro song is Elevator, which is the first single off the record, will be released tomorrow on Spotify and Apple Music and everywhere else. It will be worldwide tomorrow. That will be available, and I probably will have to change my song at that point, because I'll start getting copyright strikes on my own song. Also, I have some T-shirts for the record. They're not up on my site yet, but I'm going to put them up right after the show. So tomorrow I'll, let you know that the T-shirts are up, or they'll be up later today. If you all want to purchase a T-shirt as well for the record, you can do that too. Probably later today, but I'll drop you guys a link tomorrow when that's up. Okay, while we're at it, I'm still doing public service announcements. The best way, most direct way to support the show is paypal.me/Kevin Sandbloom, Venmo at Kevin Sandbloom, Cash App at Red Llama Music, and buymeacoffee.com/Black Bear News. And I'll check in on the coffees at the moment, and if y'all want to send me a message or say something, let me, you can do it that way. Okay. Alrighty. Sorry. Give me one moment. Just feeling the hunger roll around in my stomach. I don't really eat until after I do the show during the day, so I don't eat until 2 in the afternoon. And so I get real hungry during the show sometimes. Excuse me. All right. Thanks, Poppy. Thanks. What is next in the queue? Well, we're kind of nearing the end of the show. I just want to play a couple more things for you. This is a very interesting. You all know who Yuval Harari is? He's kind of a favorite in alternative journalism land. Why? Because he is Klaus Schwab's advisor at the World Economic Forum. So it makes sense that this guy would be interesting to people, I guess is the word I was looking for. But this is a very, what he's saying here is worth listening to, because it's grounded it's grounded in fact. And I'm not really sure what it's odd because everybody kind of casts him as some kind of evil character that's in league with Klaus Schwab, but in this video he's talking about the dangers of AI, right? He's warning people about AI, and I would imagine that would mean transhumanism. So he's saying you don't need to implant chips in people's brains to control them or manipulate them. Really, all you have to do is, and we know this already, right? We have, everyday examples of this where I know I'm doing very, very Trump-like hands. Trump hands. Trump hands. Trump doesn't sound like that at all. I'm doing Trump hands. Trump hands. He's correct. He's talking about the idea that you just need to build a story for people, right? You can propagandize people into doing whatever you want them to do. And so we have countless examples of this, right? All you need to do is tell people that something is true, tell them a story, tell them it's news, tell them it's fact, tell them it's reality, tell them, right? And people will believe it. And they still, even when the truth comes out that they have been lied to, they still believe it because it's hard for them to accept that they believed a lie. This is also true. So let's listen to this, because he's kind of, what he's saying is kind of frightening, and has a lot of truth in it. Anyways.
Contrary to what some conspiracy theories assume, you don't really need to implant chips in people's brains in order to control them or to manipulate them. For thousands of years, prophets and poets and politicians have used language and storytelling in order to manipulate and to control people and to reshape society. Now AI is likely to be able to do it. And once it can do that, it doesn't need to send killer robots to shoot us. It can get humans to pull the trigger if it really needs to. AI has just hacked the operating system of human civilization. What we are potentially talking about is nothing less than the end of human history. Now, not the end of history, just the end of the human-dominated part. Contrary to what some conspiracy theories assume, you don't really need to implant chips in people's brains in order.
So he's saying that, what he's saying is that AI is going to somehow figure out how to tell us, the story that's going to end human civilization. It's an interesting concept. He's talking about the dangers of artificial intelligence, and so it's interesting. They've linked this guy to Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, but he's warning about the dangers of artificial intelligence, and which seems to be something that the evildoers want to bring forth on the planet, right? Transhumanism, AI, and he's saying, watch out. or he's basically said it already cracked the code, right? It already had cracked the code of humanity. I don't know why he's saying that, right? I don't know what his evidence is of that. Anyways, um, I personally, sure, there might be some things that AI will help with in the short term. It might automate a lot of things for people in a short on the short term timeline. But it might be a level of complexity that we wish we hadn't brought about, because we're already at 11 with complexity, right? We're way far out over the ledge with complexity, and I think we don't need to add more complexity by artificial intelligence, robots that could possibly replicate. Excuse me, can't talk. Again, there's probably thousands, if not millions, of robots in a warehouse somewhere that they're just waiting to open. When everything's ready, they're just going to open the door and let these guys out. And oh, what a fun time that will be. I'm sure one of the main concerns before they do that is making sure that the robots don't actually turn around and come come for the person that opened the door. And maybe that's why he's talking about AI, right? Maybe that's the issue with rolling out AI, or really, who knows what they're really doing, right? Obviously, there's all kinds of secret black projects, DARPA projects, and military projects, and they're all concerned with AI. And so many of these tech wonder boys are all up into the experimentation with AI, and I'm sure that they are way farther down the road than we think they are. But I'm sure the concern is that when you unleash this thing, that it doesn't come back for you and everyone else, right? I think we need a little more old fashioned technology, right? Put some seeds in the ground, put some water on it. Hug your kids, talk to your parents, talk to your neighbors. I think we need to get back to that kind of technology. Last thing I'm going to play today. Hey William, let's have some talks. Let's have a conversation tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I kind of want to end the show pretty quickly. I'm going to play this clip and then I'm going to end the show. So tomorrow is Friday Fix, and I'll be on at the regular time, and we'll do more. I'll take calls all the live long day, and we'll also try and get a little more interactive with people in the chats. But let's watch this from Nico House. Okay. So you think that nothing is really up with the reason why I'm talking about the Trump indictments? I know. Oh my God, why is he talking about this? Oh, well, because it seems a little bit politically motivated. I think that's the problem that people have with it on a basic level, is that it's politically motivated. And quite a few things are politically motivated, obviously, but to think that it is only, it's just funny to me to hear people say but Trump is so bad. Okay. Sure. Um, on some levels, he is bad, but I just don't. I think it's interesting to cheer on. Like this like constant kind of like running to, running to go get Trump thing, and how what a headline grabber it is all the time, and oh my God, he's so bad, but you're missing the other stories as well, right? He's the symbol of all that is bad, and when there's quite a bit, there's quite a bit of bad going on that people are not paying attention to because they're super busy just focusing on Trump. But this is a very interesting. What I want to point this out because this is an interesting thing. Apparently, the state prosecutor's office, or no, the Georgia court system published Trump's indictment results to their website before the grand jury even reached a verdict. Right? Dewey wins. I mean, there are instances of this happening before, but we've seen TV stations accidentally release election results before the election happened, right? How many times have we seen that happen? Quite a few times. Over the years, there have been multiple instances of TV stations accidentally posting election results when it wasn't even election day, or it was a week before the elections, and they accidentally put it up on the screen, and it showed the result, and they were like, "Hey, are you guys just?" They were saying, "Well, we were just testing the system. Oops, oopsie." So, what Nico House is pointing out here is that the court system actually published that Trump was indicted before they had even decided to indict him. And so he's pointing out this looks a little fishy because did they already decide that they were going to indict him while they were deciding? Because that doesn't sound like a very fair or judicious or, doesn't sound like that's a fair process. Anyways.
So apparently, Georgia's court system has Miss Cleo on the payroll because they knew that Trump was going to be indicted before the grand jury even knew. At least that's what their website said. Hours before the grand jury rendered a verdict about Trump's indictment. Apparently, he was already indicted, so I don't even know why they were meeting. But when the Georgia court system was asked, how could this have possibly happened, they just said, but they are absolutely assuring us that it was not a leak. So I'm supposed to believe that somebody accidentally sat down, filled out all this paperwork, filled out all the information about the jury, filled out their decision and why they made their decision and the results of that decision. Then someone sat down, went on a computer, entered their password, probably even did two-step verification, uploaded the document, probably clicked yes when they asked, are you sure you want to upload this document? No one has been fired, no one has been held accountable, and no one has been blamed. But somehow the media has spun this into attacking Trump. Maybe it's time to accept reality. The fix was in, and they're going to go after Trump regardless of whether or not he's guilty or not guilty. I've said it once and I've said it before. We are witnessing in real time a president use every single apparatus and every tool at his disposal to go after his number one opponent, and no one seems to care enough about that. And the same Democrats and leftists and liberals who had zero faith in the criminal justice system before, rightfully so, all of a sudden have all of the faith in the criminal justice system now because it's prosecuting the presidential candidate that you don't like. We don't have a democratic republic. Our criminal justice system still can't be trusted, and y'all don't seem to care enough.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. there's two competing narratives happening right now, which is Trump is indicted for being a very bad person, and then there's Hunter Biden, the laptop, Joe Biden, the Biden family ties to, the criminal cabal, worldwide criminal cabals. We'll see. We'll see which one actually contains any veracity at the end of the day, and we'll see who is held accountable for what. I'm interested in the outcome. At the same time, I kind of feel like I know what it is. You know what I mean? All right. Rockfenders, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. YouTubers, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. And call-in people, thank you. I will see you all tomorrow at the regular time of 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And until next time, peace.